Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your TWitWoW December monthly Q&A. This is our 54th ever monthly Q&A. God, we've been doing this for 4.5 years at this point. That's absolutely nuts to me. And this is one of the smallest Q&As we've ever gotten, but a lot of similar questions just regarding the changing of the year. You know, it's literally New Year's Day or Eve, New Year's Eve here. It's December 31st, 2020, and we've got I think we only have 32 total questions, and I'm guessing around 8 of them are either about how awful 2020 was or what we're looking forward to in 2021. I hope that you're all enjoying your New Year's Eve so far, and we hope to make it a little bit better with this Q&A. So take a deep seat. Q&A is basically the fucking pre-show today because the live year-end awards, the TWitWoW year-end awards are coming at you at 7 p.m. today, Eastern time, and that is the true main event of the day. We're probably going to be live until the end of 2020, until the beginning of 2021. I'm stoked for that. But for now, take a deep seat, lay back, relax, and enjoy the next probably hour and a half to maybe 2 hours worth of us answering questions that we've gotten since our November Q&A. John, how you feeling, man?
Brother, I'm feeling great. I'm going to be truthful. My mind is really on our year-end awards because we go pillar to post with that shit. But always happy to answer the questions of our diehard fans and even some people that have gotten more comfortable with us the last couple months. Happy to have all of you. And with that said, let's make haste, friend. What's our first question?
First set of questions is from Mark because the first question of the Q&A is the question that Mark asked us all the way back in September. How quickly will it take 2021 to be worse than 2020?
It won't take long at all, Mark, because again, as I commented in the quote tweet to WWE's cringe 2020 video, a change in number of the year doesn't change the structural violence, the systemic violence that exacerbates conditions such as pandemics or this and that. It doesn't, it just exacerbates them. It doesn't address them in any meaningful way, except purely in the negative. The Senate has adjourned again on the $2,000 stimulus because every time somebody makes an impassioned plea, McConnell, all he has to answer with is, I object. So long as these systems are in place, we're going to see these violences, these crises, however you want to put it, we're going to see them replicated and repeated. It's a very malignant repetition, a concept that philosophically I've gotten more interested in the last couple months. But I cede the floor to my friend Ashton here.
I have kind of a conditional answer because I think a lot depends on what happens in the first week or so of the new year. If the first week or so of the new year isn't immediately just fucking terrible, I don't think 2021 will ever be as bad as 2020 was. Basically, if the Georgia runoffs are a disaster, and if the fucking January 6th objection to the fucking election results actually goddamn works, which I don't expect it to, but there's a lot of shit that could happen on the 5th, 6th, 7th kind of thing that could make 2021 just look like an absolute goddamn nightmare. And if those things happen, I think that would pretty quickly make it worse than 2020. But if they don't, I don't think that there's any chance, any realistic chance. Obviously, there's always a chance, but I don't think that there's much of a chance of 2021 being worse than 2020, just given all of the goddamn shit that we had to live through this year. And unfortunately, the amount of people that we all absolutely loved that didn't get to see it all the way through to the end of the year.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree.
So, next question from Mark is from just about a week ago. What are 5 things you'd like to see in WWE in 2021?
I think you could copy paste a lot of the stuff that I asked for. Roster rotations, and then really ask for roster rotations, but just use your 3 hours a bit more productively with some undercard acts that I think could make it. Again, where the fuck, is Andrade, for instance? Because I think Alistair's on SmackDown now, or he should be. Maybe don't platform garbage people, because Mark, you did say WWE, so I include NXT in this. The idea that I had to see Velveteen Dream again so close to the end of 2020, I think 2 weeks ago in that match with Cole really made me sick. I still would like better stories for the women. I still feel like a lot of them are still centered around championships. I would like for other conflicts, they're actually grounded and not like absurd or even like sexist or misogynistic. I would like other stories for women. And in fact, going with that, number 4, because I'm kind of just rattling these off, Evolution 2. I would love to see that in 2021. I'm actually disappointed we didn't get it in 2020, but you know what? In hindsight, maybe it was for the best because, crowds and all that. But in 2021, because I do think we'll get crowds back by then, at least I hope, I would like to see an Evolution 2. And 5, unions. The biggest thing. Yeah, I'd like to see fucking unions in 2021. I'm going to keep asking for it until it happens. I don't care how unreasonable it is. So, Ash, what about you?
Well, I mean, obviously a union would be great. That's also, one of those things that I've kind of given up hope for because I will say, I don't remember. I think it might have been Sasha. I don't remember who it was, but I did hear a rumor that apparently there were like 3 or 4 people that went to Stanford to talk directly to Vince about the Twitch situation. And one of them specifically was like not even somebody that uses it. I think it might have been Sasha. I don't know. But yeah, like the idea that we're, I'm not, you know what, actually, this isn't about how bad things are now. They're about what I want in 2021. So yes, a union is at the top of the list, obviously, but just talking from like a kayfabe storyline, that kind of perspective, world champion Sami Zayn, please.
Yes, God, yes. Oh my God, that just sent me.
So that's a big one that's been on my mind for a little bit. And then another big thing, and this is maybe spoilers for Royal Rumble preview in like 3 or 4 weeks, but Daniel Bryan winning the Rumble would really be amazing to me, just because that's like the one big thing that's eluded him his entire WWE career, and I feel like he's accomplished just about everything else except maybe the Universal title, which is on the show that he's on too now, so that could be fun. I would like to see somebody go the entire calendar year in 2021 with a championship. It might just fucking be Walter, and that would disappoint me. I really hope it's somebody in like more of a mainstream spot, somebody on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, New Japan, that kind of situation. Maybe even AEW, although yeah, you and I don't watch that. But that kind of thing. I think maybe Ruby Riott getting a singles title would be nice, and if not, at the very least, just a title, which would then include the tag titles with Liv. I would be happy with that. Ember Moon winning a championship would be nice, although I do know basically that would have to be at the expense of Io, or at the very least, whoever beats Io. Let's see. I guess to focus more on the main roster, since I kind of started straying off more towards NXT there at the end. How many have I named even? Have I named 5 yet?
I feel like you have, but I admittedly lost count.
I'll name one more. I just really want Aleister Black and Andrade to get something to do, even if it's just mid-card shit.
Yeah, definitely. I miss them both on TV so much.
Yeah. I really hate that once you get labeled a Heyman guy, whoever is against Heyman just immediately fucking hates you.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ.
Third question from Mark. In honor of John Huber, rest in peace, what are some of your favorite Luke Harper and or Brody Lee moments?
Can I actually go first on this?
Yeah, man.
Because I will say that match he had, because I'll never forget our preview and predictions and our live reactions, because Ashton and I both really vouched for Brody in his WWE tenure. I think we both saw so much in him. And when Orton was feuding with Bray, and they had that pit stop at Chamber, and he had the match with Brody Lee, as Luke Harper, I remember just being like, oh, but he could win. And then we could get that triple threat at Mania, which I'm just going to get ahead right now and say that absolutely should have happened. I still think it's a missed opportunity that they did not do a triple threat, because he was one of the best all-around workers that company had that they slept on for so goddamn long. But I remember being so into that match because I'm thinking, can he pull it off? And I think they did great hope spots. I've been meaning, actually, in the wake of his death, to go back and rewatch it if it's as good as I remember, but it's still a bit sensitive for me right now. I think it would still be a bit weird. But I just had to mention that whole mini program was definitely one of my favorite things, because, it was just that hope, that anticipation, that investment of, is he going to be taken to the next level? And, I just think he always had a great look. I wish his run as Intercontinental Champion was a bit more memorable. I don't think they really capitalized on that, if I'm just being honest. But, yeah, I mean, just one of the best big men. And again, I've already shared the story, and I'll just share it again real quick. You know, when he was Brody Lee, when I used to go to the Force One shows in Jersey, they got him for a show for the main event. He turned heel in the first segment because at first we thought he was going to challenge then world champion Sami Callihan. It's amazing the people that came out of Force One that are now on TV every week, or that, you know, grew their profile considerably. And in the main event, there was one spot, I think he was like setting up for a boot or something, and he was like right near me. We were like direct eye level kind of contact. And I'm like, you suck! You suck! Just like saying it over again because, you know, I'm just getting my bearings as a fan being loud. We always used to call my section the snake pit because we were always the loudest and the most passionate at the shows. And he looked right at me and he's like, yeah, and you swallow. And I will tell you, if anybody's seen my interactions with James, yes, I do. But second of all, I've never been more honored to be insulted by a heel. So I just wanted to kind of take the floor first since I knew what I would have to say. Ashton, do you have anything you'd like to share?
I think the brief face run in 2015 was kind of a big highlight to me, where he kind of had a run where he actually went against Bray Wyatt and Orton. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I do agree, though, that it would have been great if they would have actually capitalized on it with that triple threat.
That would have been wonderful, dude. I was so ready for it. I think everybody was.
But the face run in general was really cool to see.
Yeah.
That's about it for me. We had a moment on TWitWoW not so long ago that, you know, he did his, we kind of dubbed the term typical suicide dive. And it's just crazy that a guy that size does suicide dives with such regularity that it became typical to us. That's like the kind of talent that we're working with here.
I will say the only other thing I would mention, just to really punctuate this question with, I guess, sufficient memories and stuff. You guys know I don't care about AEW at all, but his world title matchup against Moxley was so well done. Like, the way he portrayed a monster and the finish and everything, and Moxley's, like, obviously hardcore roots, but mixed with just the right amount of desperation. That's another match I've actually wanted to go back and watch because I thought it was really well done. And I honestly think he was one of the best big men that we've seen, you know, in this era. I think guys like him really laid the groundwork for guys like Dijakovic and Lee, and I just hope the big men generation just keep, you know, with each passing generation, they get better and better, and I think we'll have to thank Brody Lee a lot for that. So,
yeah. All right. Fourth question from Mark. If you could create an Among Us lobby with any 9 other people, you know, you can include friends, family, even celebrities or wrestlers or whatever you want, who would be in your game?
Oh, God, dude. I mean, I know it's obvious, but, like, I'd love to see Kyrie in an Among Us lobby because she's so sweet and innocent, right? That, like, she'd probably be shocked if she was killed by an imposter, and then being an imposter, I don't even know if she would know what to do. She probably would be somebody that would let people just finish their tasks, like 100%. So, Kyrie, I mean, definitely, I already love the Among Us lobby that we're packing with, so, you know, Chief in, Javaris, Foster, I'd love to get you in on there. Foster's definitely somebody I'm thinking about. Abel's another one. John Morrison, obviously. So, yeah, I'd say our Discord lobby combined with, because what's that, Ashton? Like 6 or 7 people at most?
So, yeah, so the ones that we play with most often are Craig, Chiefin, Revel when he's healthy. Unfortunately, he does have COVID right now, so wish him the best.
Absolutely.
Jackie, Mark, we just had Luna Corva, but he's just kind of a new addition. I'm trying to remember who all we played with on that Wednesday night, or that Monday night, actually, I think it was. Whatever it was that we had all 10 people at one point. Sean is a big one. Plus you and me, and who am I forgetting?
So can I just say our Discord group and leave it at that? Because I do like our group, but I think if
that's the thing is, like, it would just be really nice to be able to get like a full group of 10 in there. Oh, Javar, did I mention Javaris?
I believe you did, but I mean, you definitely have now. So Javaris. Right.
So yeah, you know, it was the 2 of us: Sean, Craig, Jackie. That's 5. Mark, Revel, Javaris, Chief, and then I guess Luna Corva, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, if I could add one person, just thinking about somebody that isn't always regular on our Among Us streams, I mean, again, a Kyrie would just be just fucking tops. So, yeah, any fantasy people you'd like to play Among Us with?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, being completely realistic, it would be really, really nice to just be able to get a consistent 10-person lobby in our little circle. That would be really wonderful. But if we're talking more like fantasy celebrity kind of thing, I'm like kind of weird with games like this because I get really annoyed playing with people who aren't good at the game or who don't understand the game. So I would probably want to just load it up with just people that I already watch play Among Us on like YouTube and stuff. So like Valkyrie and Sykkuno and Corpse and Disguised Toast and Hafu and people like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what? I already named 5 people. I might as well just round out the lobby. Okay. Who did I name already? Valkyrie, Toast, Corpse, Sykkuno, Hafu, and then let me keep going. I think I just named the people that I'm subscribed to. Tina Kitten is a good one. X Choco Bars is a good one. Fuck, I feel like I'm forgetting people. I hate feeling like I'm leaving people out, you know?
Yeah.
Peter Park I would want. Fuslie, I don't know if you're familiar with who she is.
No.
And Ludwig. Ludwig is fucking hilarious. So there's my 10.
All right, next question.
All right. Next question. Please tell 2020 to fuck off.
Fuck off. And you will in about just a few hours. So
7.5 hours.
Yeah, 7.5 hours. Next question.
Next set of questions. It's from Hypothesis. You know, it surprised me Rotten Butter didn't get questions in this month.
Wait, seriously? Wow.
Does Dave Meltzer announcing Kenny Omega as part of Wrestling Observer Newsletter's 2020 Hall of Fame an even bigger circle jerk than the WWE Hall of Fame?
I think so, yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, it's a pretty big circle jerk, but like, it's the same concept. You take a guy that you build up, that you make, and then you put him in a fake Hall of Fame that doesn't mean anything. Like, it's the same damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but like...
If anything, I would say it's less of a circle jerk because Meltzer had less to do with Omega being as good as he is than WWE has to do with their best performers being as great as they get.
That's, I guess, a fair point. I don't know. I really hate Dave Meltzer.
Oh, I do too. I'm there with you for sure.
But next question.
Second question from Hypothesis. If you could partner with any current promotion to start a new wrestling show, who would it be?
Stardom. Absolutely 100% Stardom.
Can I just say Bushi Road so we can get access to both Stardom and New Japan?
That feels kind of cheaty, but
it does.
I like your face, so...
You take Stardom, I'll take New Japan.
Sweet.
I'm tempted to just agree with you, though, because Stardom really does have an incredible roster, and I feel like good male wrestlers on like just like the US or UK or even Japan indie scenes are a lot more easy and common to find than really good women wrestlers like you have an absolutely incredible amount of in Stardom. So I feel like Stardom has a better foundation because it's easier to find good dude wrestlers off the street than it is to find good women wrestlers off the street.
And, you know, and I hope I'm not going out of pocket here, but like Stardom has such a vibrant and lively aesthetic that like you could literally do any show. You want to do like a superhero show? Fucking you could do their own like all-female Power Ranger shit or whatever with like Riho, Tommy, Kamitani, whatever. You want to do just, I don't know, one of those fucking early 90s girl shows where they're like, I don't know, having summer parties or in a horseback riding club or reacting to anime or whatever. You could do that. I feel like there'd be more elasticity with programming with the Stardom roster than the men's roster in New Japan. That's just my 2 cents. So,
and when he said to start a new wrestling show, I wasn't thinking about like a sitcom. I'm thinking like, you know, a show to compete with like Monday Night Raw and Dynamite and stuff like that.
And I would still say so because I think it would be bold to compete with like an all-female roster. And again,
but
like
I wouldn't want to have an all-female roster, but I would want my entire female roster to be comprised of Stardom.
Right. Yeah.
Like I would want to run a promotion that is basically the first of its kind in the sense that it legitimately gives equal time to the men and women, but I would want the women to all be Stardom wrestlers. And I could find other men wrestlers, you know, like I'm sure there are free agents available right now that you could make stars out of. You know, like if fucking Pentagon and Phoenix weren't doing jack shit in AAA before Lucha Underground started, we can find some people off the street to make stars out of, but it's a hell of a lot harder to find women to make stars out of that aren't signed somewhere already than it is with men.
Yeah, Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that for sure.
Yeah, because it does say if you could partner with any current promotion. It's not saying you're taking over a promotion and trying to make it big. It's saying you're partnering with a promotion. And because of that, yeah, Stardom is definitely the way to go to me. Third question, though, from Hypothesis, and final question. What percentage chance would you give that Seth Rollins' ex convinced him that she was a Hindu/Buddhist and not a Nazi?
So
I
what
wish
percentage...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I feel like I cut you off. You go. Just finish.
No, I was just going to say I wish I gave enough of a shit to actually put some effort into thinking of a percentage here, but I just don't care.
So wait, just to understand clearly, the question is like the girlfriend convincing Seth that she's not a Nazi but just a Buddhist or whatever because they appropriated their symbol, that being the Nazis. I mean, Seth does seem, I don't know, he's low key got that. Who's that one? Oh, he's low key got some Flip Gordon energy. I feel like, I don't know. So I'll give it a 60%. But then again, you know what though? He's in a happy marriage now and he's a father. So like, unless he's a piece of trash, which I mean, come on, it's wrestling. There's a good chance there. 45%. I'll say 45.
Yeah. I was going to aim right around there. I'll say like 35%. So let's move on, though. First question from Super Blue. In 2021, do you think it would be better for you to review AEW pay-per-views instead of reacting to them?
No. No, because I don't want anything to do with the product.
I was just going to say, I think it would be better for us to do with 2021 AEW pay-per-views what we did with 2020 Full Gear, which is nothing.
Exactly. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
it's just not a product that appeals to us. Second question from Super Blue. What should NXT do to keep War Games from losing its value like the Hell in a Cell match?
I think just keep doing what it's doing. It does it once a year, and it's like 2 War Games matches that more or less are put well together. I don't mind it in this case. Because I feel like they do it once a year, but I think they always get ready for the feuds to be personal enough. I would say this year more so McAfee, Undisputed Era. But even Candice and Shotzi, like, they did a great segment where Candice destroyed her tank and Shotzi was in fucking pieces. So there's always some personal component, whereas the Hell in a Cell matches, more often than not, I feel like, nah, you just want to put it in here because you just think the stip will elevate the match. Very often do I feel like it's like a blood feud type of thing or whatever. So yeah, I just say just keep doing what you're doing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I do get the question though. I do kind of feel like I understand the concept of it kind of losing its value. I would say the best way to just kind of keep its value though is just to do a better job of knowing when it's going to happen and building up to it from more than 2 weeks out. Like if you really look at it and like work, okay, we got War Games in 2 months, let's really build up to this, like, or even like 4 months, you know, it never hurts to start building to something that's supposed to be as big of a deal as War Games is supposed to be really far out, you know, like you can, even if it's something that like, oh, you know, it's 6 months away, let's start something that we know we want to build up to War Games now. I wouldn't have a problem with a 6-month feud that culminates at War Games. I would love that. I think we would both eat up something like that. So I think the real key is just to make it important, make it be the blow off to a feud that's been going on for a while that's really intense, really personal. And you know, I think that's the important thing because the problem this year, like even you mentioned the Candice Shotzi thing, that happened like 3 or 4 weeks before War Games. That was like, you know, kind of maybe not quite as jarring as the fucking Rhea Raquel video package that we got this week, but it was along similar lines in the sense that it felt like, oh, well now we want to build to a War Games match, so we got to turn the volume up to 11 rather than just having the volume at 10 ready to go to 11 at the, you know, at a dime's drop.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Next up, how do you feel about my G1 record? And he gave us a fucking spreadsheet with his G1 record in it, and it was like 66 and 27 or something like that.
Not bad, I guess. Good luck next year.
Dude, I had a similar reaction. I was literally just like, wow, dude, you're really using Q&A to try and flex your fucking record? I was like, wow, like that's... Here, I found it. I think there was something specific about his predictions that he wanted us to see, but he was 66 and 23 is what he was. I don't know if I said that the first time, but yeah, he predicted that Yoshihashi, I think, would get 10 points, and he didn't finish with anywhere close to that.
I mean, then you kind of deserved your record. Not to be a dick, but no.
Yeah,
So
I don't really know how to react to somebody's record.
I love that your energy's like, you get the question, you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
Yeah. Well, dude, I even replied to him in the Discord after he asked this. I was like, you really using Q&A to flaunt your G1 prediction record? And he was just like, no, but the fact that I failed on Yoshihashi to getting to 10 points and still have a great record is funny. And I'm just like, okay, but like, so?
Next question.
Cut a promo on Nintendo, and this is
That's
starting a bunch of shit that's been going down with Nintendo lately. So, just as a way to do my best cliff notes to fill you in, Super Smash Bros. Melee basically is incapable of being played right now because of COVID in any way other than online. And as you know, Melee came out on the GameCube, which is long before Wi-Fi play was introduced. And so that means that people who play Melee have to find other ways to play Melee with each other. And they have this, like, there's like a program or something that allows you to play GameCube games emulated on your computer across the internet on Wi-Fi multiplayer the way that you normally would if you were right next to a person. And that's how the Melee scene has kind of stayed alive during COVID, during, the lockdown era. And now Nintendo is basically shutting it down, saying, no, you're not allowed to stream our game if you're emulating it because that's illegal. And so they're basically killing the Melee scene, which has been alive and thriving for like 17 or 18 years now. It's crazy how long it's lasted, given that there have been like 3 or 4 other main release Super Smash Bros. Games since then. But Melee is just the fucking best Super Smash Bros. Game because of how fast you're able to play and how responsive the movement is and stuff like that. So that scene has been thriving for damn near 2 decades. And Nintendo has really kind of been neglecting that scene for probably 12 years now, because basically since Super Smash Bros. Brawl dropped in the first place was when they stopped doing anything to support it. But it was still showing up in like major esports tournaments and fighting game tournaments up to like 2016, 17, 18 even. I think the last time it was in EVO was 2017, which is a big tournament. It's like the biggest fighting video game tournament in the world. And yeah, so Nintendo is basically shutting down Twitch streams of Melee that are played on this online thing because they're emulated, and they're like, that's their argument, is like, fuck you, it's illegal. And then I don't remember, I think it was Splatoon 2, I want to say, had a tournament, and a bunch of the players that were playing had some kind of either name tag or some kind of thing going on in the game that was like supporting Super Smash Bros. Melee. And Nintendo shut that shit down then too. So Nintendo is really going out of their way to try and kill the Melee scene and anyone that tries to support them.
Okay, so a few thoughts here. A promo really isn't a question. Of course, you could always just phrase it of, give your thoughts on Nintendo. And I guess, that obviously counts, but just want to point that out. That's kind of a pet peeve with me for these. Second of all, let's be real here. This isn't just a promo on Nintendo. It's a promo on yet another functionality of capitalism.
I do! That's what I was gonna say! I literally, when I saw this question, I really wanted to just be like, oh, so you want us to cut yet another promo on capitalism?
And it's like, come on, guys. These rants aren't leading to revolution. Believe me, if they did, I would never shut the fuck up, which I don't anyway, but fuck you. So
that applies to both of us, but true.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, anybody that really knows me knows that I'm very much against IP laws, and I'm all about that open access, baby. Fucking circulate that fucking knowledge. Anybody that wants somebody to read or look up Aaron Swartz. A guy used an MIT computer to hack into JSTOR, which is like this academic hub, and he redistributed articles like all across the world. and particularly in like quite a few parts of Africa and stuff. We watched that episode, Ashton, of Adam Ruins Everything, where they were talking about video games and IP and how people like would love to do stuff with Mickey Mouse or this character, that character, but they can't because intellectual property laws had a change that, wouldn't you know it, served corporations. Which it's funny.
I forget how long it was, but the IP laws used to be that you could copyright something for up to like a certain amount of years. I think it was like 35 years or something. It might even be less than that. It might even be 20 or something like that. Years. And then it was for use. Anyone could use it. And that was basically the idea was you can own the copyright basically as long as it is, you know, something that you can keep juicing money out of, as long as you can keep profiting from. But after a certain amount of time, the juice runs dry. And, you know, once that happens, you can start letting other people play with it, right?
Exactly. And then that
I think in
changed.
like the 1920s or something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
Depression era, it might have been. Yeah, corporations got together and lobbyists were like, yeah, I think we can not do this. I think we can just, you know, keep renewing our copyrights forever ad infinitum.
Yeah, and it's funny that corporations recognized as people, you know, they get treated better as people than literally everyone else.
Than actual people.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and like, guys, here's the thing about me. I am low-key kind of a snob. I will own that. Everybody knows that I love philosophy. You know, I am a aspiring philosopher at least. And I would like to see more cultural production. And cultural production isn't going to happen to the level that I believe it can happen with so many talented people. One, with barriers to entry in the cultural industry. And then two, with IP just pervading throughout the cultural industry. So yeah, it sucks. I mean, what else do you want me to say than it sucks? Because of course it does. You know, it sucks that somebody could have a really great story that maybe uses hypothetically Mickey Mouse. And it's like, Disney gets a wind of it. It's like, oh, well, not on our watch. And then they fucking brutalize them because they're a corporation and this was just an aspiring artist. I mean, there are so many asymmetries of power and social capital, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, going on here that it's really sickening. And Nintendo's just another iteration of that. I mean, we've heard about Nintendo before. When emulators go up, like, they take them down because of copyright. And it's like, bruh. Like, let people fucking game. I don't understand, especially when you consider, too, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be sympathetic to corporations that need governments to bail them out because they don't save for a rainy day, and yet they feel like we're the robbers because we emulate shit, right? Like just no sympathy whatsoever. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that, because, I mean, we're really making good time here, and we have very few questions. Next question.
This one's just for me. What can I do in fantasy next year to not finish last in Abel's Gridiron Guild League? Let me see. I don't know. Let me pull up the draft from this year's Gridiron Guild League. Is it this one? I think it is. Is this the one with Super Blue in it? Yes, there it is. Super Blue. Okay, let's see. Let's see the draft results here. How'd you do here, Super Blue? Well, your first overall pick was a quarterback, so that's a fucking terrible... Or no, wait, this is actually a 2 QB league, so that's not even that terrible, is it? Yeah, this is a 2 QB league. Okay, so that's passable. That's not too bad. I would still say that Dak was a reach in the first round. Kelsey's fine, Ingram's fine, Gurley's fine, Gallup's fine. Actually, that's early for Gallup. Hilton, I would say that's a little early for him, too. I don't know, man. I think it might just be a luck thing. Maybe better start-sit decisions. Maybe get some kind of, like, subscription to Fantasy Pros to help you with your start-sit decisions. I feel like you didn't have that terrible of a team. Although you did score. Well, no, you weren't even the lowest scoring person in the league. And I happen to know for a damn fact that the one person that scored fewer points than you is a damn good fantasy player. Because I've been in a few leagues with her, with Abel, and that whole crew, and she's whooped my ass before. So I really do think it's a luck thing, man. I don't think your draft was all that bad or anything. I mean, just looking at your team, it's not even that bad. You got kind of fucked on wide receivers, so maybe focus a little more on them. I don't know. But yeah, man, it doesn't really seem like your team is all that bad. You lost Dak midway through the season. He was your first overall pick. That's bad luck. You lost Julian Edelman. That's bad luck. And even if you didn't lose Julian Edelman completely, Cam Newton got COVID in week 4 and he was never the same afterwards. So that's bad luck. Like, it was just a fucking rough season for luck, man. I would say, really, if you really are trying to actively do something to improve your game, the best advice that I can give you is to just get some kind of tool to help you with start-sit decisions. You don't even have to pay for anything if you want to just like go on Sleeper and just like look in some of the questions that they have. Like, I know that they have like some message boards on Sleeper and stuff like that you could check out. So those are some options. I really don't think that you have that much of a problem. I was kind of like, when I saw this question, I was expecting to look at your draft and be like, what the fuck were you thinking? But really, it's not that bad. So at the end of the day, I think you're more likely just unlucky. And yeah, Foster, Dak in the first round would be absolutely egregious if it wasn't a 2 QB league. The fact that it was a 2 QB league means that you want to get QBs early and often. And Dak is, I think he was one of the best draft picks, or one of the best quarterbacks to take early in the draft this year. So I really don't have a problem with that. It might have been a little bit of a reach to take him before guys like Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, but I know you're a Cowboys fan, so I can kind of understand the homerism there, and it wasn't more than like a round worth of a reach either. So I can absolutely understand why you would want Dak. So I can't even get on you too much for that. At the end of the day, I really do think it was just bad luck, though. Next set of questions are from Revel Icon. First up, all movies released during the Christmas holiday are Christmas movies. Agree or disagree?
You know what? I'll agree with it. I'm not nearly emotionally invested enough in this debate. I would say so. Fuck it. You're trying to get in on that market. Why the hell not? So.
I think Christmas movies are movies that are actually supposed to be about Christmas, or at the very least are like tangential to Christmas or feature Christmas-related stuff in them. Like, if this were the case, Wonder Woman 1984 would be more of a Christmas movie than the Harry Potter movies. And I feel like the Harry Potter movies are way more close to being Christmas movies than Wonder Woman 1984. So I'm going to just say disagree on this. Second question, since Kenny Omega is the collector now, which world championships from around the different wrestling promotions would you consider to be the infinity belts of the wrestling universe? Since we have Infinity Stones in the MCU, what are the Infinity Belts that Omega would have to collect, assuming he's like the new Thanos?
I mean, whether we like them or not, I think he would have to be WWE champion, and I kind of emphasize that belt over the Universal title. Even though I guess we're talking.
I would say both.
It is the universe. Yeah.
I would say, in order of importance, I would say IWGP Heavyweight, Universal, WWE, AEW, TNA or Impact, and ROH.
Yeah, I'm just going to copy paste what you said. Yeah, because that's agreeable.
Actually, swap out ROH for NXT, because let's be real. Like, NXT is far more relevant than ROH right now.
Yeah.
So, WWE got half of them. God damn it. Third question from Revel. Which are your top 5 Christmas movies?
Klaus, I think, is number 1. That Netflix movie that they came out with last year, that was so good. I think that is my favorite Christmas movie now.
I think I might agree with you on that, dude. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a great fucking movie. For me personally, because this is like more childhood, they said top 5 or top 3?
5.
5 is going to be a bit tough. This might have to be one where we go back and forth. So we share one. For me, I'll put A Muppet Christmas Carol. That was always my favorite iteration of that story.
And that's one that I've never seen. Or if I have seen it, I don't remember it.
So I'll add that. What do you bring into the table?
No. I want you to get, unless you just want me to do my 5, because I can do 5 easily.
I don't know if I can do 5. I know I kind of am ashamed of it now because he's a piece of shit. But Tim Allen's first 2 Santa Claus movies, I never saw the third one. But I did like the first 2. So
I would only include the first one on my list, not the second one.
And then, god damn, you know what? You can't beat it. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated version. So I guess that is 5.
Which animated version, the original or the Illumination?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Illumination wasn't bad, but still, fuck Illumination. So the original one,
Wait, was the original one any less of a product of capitalism run wild than the Illumination one was, really?
I mean, dude, what are you gonna do? We live in capitalism. Everything's produced under capitalism. It's like, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, are we splitting hairs at this point?
I mean, dude, how else are we gonna survive, man? Like, of course we're splitting fucking hairs.
We have to split hairs, damn it.
Yeah, dude, where the fuck you think we are?
The hairs are oppressing us.
So what about yours, man?
Number one, and I never would have guessed that this would be my number one if you would have asked me like 3 or 4 years ago. But over time, I just feel like it's aged with me so well. And it's the one Christmas movie that I really feel the need to watch every single year. And that's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I fucking love that movie. I don't care. I know it's probably got some problematic shit that I don't remember, but I love that movie. That's definitely number one for me. Number two is probably Klaus. I do think that I'm going to put Klaus in at number two. Number three, Elf, for sure. Absolutely loved Elf. Number four, the Santa Claus. Number four would be the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. And then number five, let's see. Bad Santa. Boom. There we go. Easy peasy. And you know what? Honorable mention to the Seth Rogen, James Franco movie The Night Before. That movie's fucking hilarious.
Sweet. All right. Next question.
Fourth question from Rebel Icon. Would you rather hang out the whole day and vlog shenanigans with the New Day, or the same thing with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends?
I'm going to say New Day all day, every day. Those guys are fucking awesome.
Yeah, same. I mean, OC is cool and all, but like, I don't know. I feel like OC and the Best Friends would have too many inside jokes, whereas the New Day would just be like really, they would really like go out of their way to make sure that you're having a good time with them.
Exactly.
Fifth and final question from Rebel Icon. During the night before Christmas, you wake up and find Santa Claus raiding your fridge clean. What's your reaction?
Get the fuck out of my house.
My first reaction is, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, pretty much same energy.
Because I know Santa Claus ain't real, so I'm wondering who's dressed up like Santa Claus trying to steal from me, you know?
Yeah, honestly, if I was cooler and I was more prepared in these situations, I would just wait for them to just rummage the fridge, and then when they close the door and see me, like in those movie scenes where you turn the light on when you think like you're sneaking in the house, and that one person turns the light on, it's like, oh, caught you. I'd just be like, party's over, Grandpa. Get that Brock Lesnar energy going. So yeah, fuck Santa raiding my fridge.
Next question from Revel. Or no, that was the last one. Next set of questions are from Brandon Best. First up, why hasn't Randy Orton sought help for the voices in his head?
Because he doesn't want to change.
I love that.
Why hasn't Randy Orton sought help for the voices in his head? Do you know if they've asked him for help?
I highly doubt it. So
well, maybe that's why he hasn't sought help for them, if they don't want it.
Yeah, there you go. You ever think about that, Brandon?
Yeah.
Next question.
From Brandon, what's the best Iron Sheik tweet?
Oh, God.
One where he talks about breaking Hulk Hogan's back and making him humble.
If that was really a thing, I'm just going to co-sign. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
I think that's like the most common thing he's tweeted. He's probably tweeted a few hundred times about that, at least, if not thousands.
You know what? May we all have the energy for those we hate, like Sheik does with Hogan. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Third and final question from Brandon. What's the most brutal spot that you've seen in Stardom? And he said brutal as in a spot that made you wince or tense up.
You know what? I'm gonna say anytime Momo or Shuri roundhouse kick someone, that always consistently makes me tense up. Always.
I think there are two instances that I remember specifically. One is the B Mayu spot from last year's year-end climax, or not even year-end climax. The last year's, I think it was like a November show, the world title match where Mayu was going for a Rana and B was going for a powerbomb, and B just basically fucking dropped Mayu on her head.
Yeah, that was brutal.
And then just maybe even within the last month, when I want to say it was Saya Ida and Saya Kamitani, and Kamitani went for a victory roll, and Ida's too damn short, and Kamitani was too damn tall, and Kamitani just landed on her fucking dome.
Yeah, that was bad too. Talking about a mismatch in terms of size and everything that just really didn't come off.
I don't even remember if it was Ida. It might have been one of the twins. It might have been Hanan. It might have been, I genuinely, it might have been Saki Kashima for all I genuinely don't remember who was the one taking the move, but I know that it was Kamitani that landed on her head out of a victory roll.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a big one too. Next set of questions are from Alonzo J, aka Ace the Skylord. First up, what's one wrestling moment from before you started watching wrestling that you wish you could have experienced live?
from before I started watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Experiencing
This is
live.
easy as hell for you because you got the whole Attitude Era to choose from.
I mean, it's going to be cliche as shit, but truthfully, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to pick two. Mankind Taker, Hell in a Cell, because it just seems like one of those stories where it's like, oh man, I wish you could have been there. Or, and I guess it just shows you what a Mick Foley mark I've always been, even if he has gotten kind of worse over the years. Cactus Jack versus Triple H from Royal Rumble 2000. Because again, it was just one of those crazy matches where it was like, it was probably so much better if you had been there.
See, a Mankind Taker, Hell in a Cell, I did not watch, but I started watching relatively soon after that to the point that they were already showing it in like highlight videos and everything. But Cactus Jack Triple H, I saw the shit out of that, and I loved the shit out of it. Dude, the promo that Mankind cut talking about Mankind might not be tough enough to be able to handle the game, and he said, but I know someone who is. He starts taking his shirt off, he rips his mask off. I lost my fucking mind.
Yeah, dude, it just comes off so fucking well.
It really did. It really did. For me, though, it's actually really simple. Hogan joining the NWO.
Yeah, great choice, man. Great choice.
Yeah, dude. I feel like I was born like a decade too late. Because if I would have been born in 1980, I would have been a kid during the peak of Hulk Hogan. I would have been in college during the Attitude Era. Like, it would have worked out so much better. Like, I feel like that I missed my calling. I was born a decade too late. Because, like, and then maybe I would have been able to get into Japanese wrestling earlier. Because the other moment that I was actually thinking about answering this with was Kobashi Sasaki.
Dude, yes.
Yeah. And then, like, another one that I thought of was, like, mid-90s All Japan women's wrestling. With fucking Toyota and Aja Kong and, like, all of the women that were killing it back then, too. Like, yeah, like, that's, I would have been a teenager while all that was happening, so maybe I would have been into it. I don't know.
Dude, you mentioning that, I just want to add one more thing, because you mentioning Japanese wrestling, like, opens up a whole thing.
Yeah.
God, I wish I could have been there for every AJPW show in history, but mainly, I think I'll also say the very first Marufuji Kenta matchup. Because that was just the start of
that's Noah, isn't it?
Rivalry. That is Noah. It's not AJPW, but that's why I said, like, rather than just focusing on any one promotion, because, like, I'm not that familiar with AJPW. Right. Although I will say, like, any Misawa matchup I would have been honored to be in attendance for. Yeah. Kenta Marufuji would have been fucking lit. Oh, my God. Or, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention... Well, actually, no, they said before I started watching wrestling, so never mind. That doesn't count. So, next question.
Yeah, next question. What is your all-time favorite faction in any promotion?
All-time favorite faction in any promotion. When they say all-time, that would also have a historical connotation, right? Like, not currently.
Well, I mean, you can pick a current one if the current faction that's going right now is, in your opinion, your favorite over every other ever.
You know what? Again, I'm going to have to be a bit cliche. I'm going to have to say Evolution. Because I was a kid when Evolution was a thing, and the way they'd get heat, even if it was during Triple H's Reign of Terror, it was good shit. And, like, I realized how worked WWE had me as a kid, because if somebody would just turn face, I didn't even think about what they would do to my faves at the time. I'm like, they're going against Evolution. They're awesome. Yeah. So, getting the job done, and plus, like, they made Batista, who I always feel like was definitely, like, a great fucking babyface. Especially in, like, 2005, 6, that whole period. So, yeah, Evolution. And plus, to me, the greatest faction theme song ever. And then I'd say second would be S.H.I.E.L.D., but I will say this. They have time on their side, and I think they've aged so well as I've gotten older and I've rewatched their stuff. But Stardom's factions, I think one day when I'm, like, I don't know, 50 or something, I'll be like, that Queen's Quest. They were really fucking great. Or that DDM or whatever. So a lot of great factions right now, but I think Evolution still has kind of a soft spot in my heart because I grew up with that shit, so.
Yeah. I think D-Generation X would have been my answer if they didn't soil their legacy with their later runs in the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah, I can agree with you there.
That really killed their legacy to me. Like, my memory of them is sullied because of that. So I think I almost just have to go with the default here and just say NWO. And really, I'll even be more specific and say NWO Wolfpack.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that answer. That's good shit.
Although I will also add that LIJ is very close.
Yes, for sure.
Third question from Alonzo. Realistically speaking, what do you think will be the first WWE show with a full crowd?
You know what? I'm going to be pessimistic. Honestly, I'm going to say, no, that doesn't work. Because that's actually coming up next month, and that would be Royal Rumble 2022. They're saying this year. I'm going to say Hell in a Cell 2021.
They didn't say this year. They literally just said, what's... I'll read the question word for word, which I already did, but maybe, I don't know. Realistically speaking, what do you think will be the first WWE show with a full crowd? It doesn't say anything about it having to be in 2021.
Royal Rumble 2022.
I'm going to say SummerSlam. I'm going to say SummerSlam this year.
SummerSlam would have been my next thing, honestly, because I've been thinking SummerSlam, but I don't know. I really don't trust.
I think that the vaccine is going to be widely dispersed enough by SummerSlam that they'll be able to do it.
Here's the thing, bro. I don't disagree with you, right? My concern is, are people going to follow instructions? Because I think a lot of people are ignorantly still under the assumption that it's like one and done, but you got to get it, then you got to go home, you got to wait for that to take effect, then you got to get another injection. And I'm just going to be real. I don't care how much of an asshole that sounds like. That's putting way too much faith in people that have been reacting to this virus, I think. So, like, I'm going to be more pessimistic. I'm going to say Royal Rumble 2022.
Yeah, that was... dude, it's funny because you said that SummerSlam this year was your second choice. Rumble 2022 was my second choice.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're pretty much at the same energy, you and I. We're just kind of flipped a little bit, so...
Yeah, I'm just being a little more... And you also did come right out and say, I'm going to be pessimistic, so I guess I'm just on the optimistic side of this.
That's so rare. All right, next question.
Really, though?
I mean, you always say that. I'm like, you just said recently, I'm this fountain of optimism. I guess that comes more with, like,
specifically when it comes to WWE's booking, though. I'm much more optimistic when it relates to the human species as a whole, though.
Oh, yeah, no, we're fucked. Yeah, you're definitely far more optimistic than I am. So.
Yeah. All right, next question, and I say question because it is only one question. We got a singular question from three different people in a row coming up here. First up, our one question from Angel. He said, how far should they take Karrion Kross's undefeated streak? Could you see it going all the way to the main roster?
I could. I definitely could. I think with his packaging and his presentation, I 100% see Karrion Kross having an undefeated streak. He might even, I'm going to be truthful, because he's a male wrestler and, you know, because English and all that, his undefeated streak might even last longer than Asuka's, potentially. I almost would hate to see that because Asuka was such a phenomenon and she's so fucking good. But I can't lie. I can see it. And as far as, like, anybody ending the streak, I don't know where the fuck the gimmick's going to be. I don't even know where the gimmick is right now, right? But I'm going to say The Fiend to give Karrion Kross his first loss. So that's my tentative guess.
Jesus Christ. Fuck, man. Goddamn. I guess I'm less optimistic or pessimistic, depending on how you feel about Karrion Kross, than you are about how hard they're going to be willing to push him. I think that the streak will end in NXT, and it wouldn't surprise me if Finn Balor was the one to do it.
We'll see. We'll see. All
that said, though, I just want to throw this out there. Rotten Butter apparently did get his questions in, and I have them recorded. But because I know he doesn't give a shit about being last, and Foster loves being last, we're still going to do Foster last. We'll just do Rotten Butter penultimate.
Okay, fair enough.
Next up, though, we got a question from Stella. And her question is very simple. What are your expectations for the coming year?
I mean, politically and socially, more of the same, if not a bit worse in degrees. We already kind of established that I'm very pessimistic in that regard. For me personally, reading more philosophy, I'm so proud of myself with how much I was able to read this year. I want to keep that energy up because I do think I need to read more and write less, oddly enough. But on the writing side, I am trying to get a book off the ground with a group of people that are just amazing, and I'm so privileged to potentially work with them. So I want to keep doing philosophy. You know, that's what I love. That's my fucking energy.
Yeah.
I've got some health things I'm going through right now, trying to sort out fucking blood tests and shit. I'd like to get that sorted very early in 2021 and quit being such a goddamn hypochondriac, but no promises there. I also have really been giving serious thought the last few days to getting hooked up with a new therapist in 2021. Normalize going to therapy in 2021 challenge. So that's something I'm definitely thinking about. Is there anything else I wanted to do? You know, it's funny that I was getting ready to try and be more social, before COVID hit. So I think, when it gets safe, which again, I highly doubt that won't be until late 2021, I would like to go out more with my family. I wanted to take them to a planetarium because I don't know, I'm a geek. I love like the whole display, everything. Just go out on more adventures, quote unquote. But yeah, I think mainly I'm just very driven with philosophy, and that's always my big goal every year. Just do things I haven't done last year. Do more podcasts, do more writings, do more readings, etc. And just keep on. I guess on the wrestling side, my only expectation that I'm in control of is I just want to keep promoting Stardom. I really do. I want to keep advocating for Stardom and getting more subscribers there because they're amazing and they deserve that. So what about you, bud? What are your expectations? I know you've got some cool shit lined up for the new year.
Yeah. More generally speaking, I'm kind of in agreement with you as far as like things not changing for the most part. I'm hoping that what we're kind of predicting for the first, couple weeks of Biden's presidency comes true, in the sense that John and I, as well as a few people that we pay attention to, have been saying for a little while now that the first month or so of Joe Biden's presidency could very well end up being the only really good month of his presidency and easily the best of his entire presidency, because he's going to have an opportunity to sign a whole bunch of executive orders into action, either undoing some bullshit that Trump did, or getting some shit done that Trump refused to do. I'm hoping that he federally legalizes marijuana. It would be really nice if we could get fucking felons able to vote, but I doubt he'll do that. Probably going to re-enter the Paris Climate Agreement, that kind of stuff. So that's going to be nice. Really, really, really hoping that the Dems win the Georgia Senate runoff, because that would really open things up as far as, Biden not being able to just sit on his hands and say, "Oh, I can't do anything because of the Senate. They're holding me up." That would be really obnoxious, and that seems extremely likely just because Republicans almost always win runoff votes. But hopefully the grassroots action that's going on down in Georgia is enough to make the difference. Getting away from politics and focusing more on wrestling, I'm really hoping to see big years from Azumi and Starlight Kid. I really hope to see kind of a big breakout year for Cameron Grimes. I think from a performance standpoint, 2020 already was that, but I really want him to get some goddamn gold around his waist in 2021. Like I already said, I really, really want to see Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble this year. He's like my number one want to win pick for this year, knowing that he's going to be in it and that he was the first person to announce it has me really excited about the potential of him actually winning the thing, and then him going against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Like, holy shit. Let's see, what else? I guess to get away from wrestling and focus more on like personal life, I am getting a 1 terabyte, 2.5-inch NVMe, or not NVMe, SATA SSD tomorrow, hopefully. It should be coming in the mail, that I'm going to install in my laptop. So I will go from having 240 gigs of storage to over 1,000 gigs of storage. I'll have, like 1,060-ish gigs of storage. Very excited about that, because then I will actually be able to install games like Ark Survival Evolved and GTA 5, which I have in my Steam library but can't install because of a lack of space. And then I'll also be able to install some other small-ish games that I just don't have installed for the sake of saving space, like MapleStory. Maybe try MapleStory 2. I'm sure there are, TFT or TF2, I guess, Team Fortress 2. Little games like that I've had in my library for a long time, but I haven't been able to play in a long time because of a lack of space on my disc, on my current SSD. And then later on in the year, I'm planning on buying a new laptop because the NVIDIA RTX 30 series should be coming to laptops probably around March or April, and I want to get a laptop with one of those babies in it. I'm really hoping to get a Ryzen laptop with an RTX 3060 or 3060 Ti, if that's the only thing available. Guessing I'll end up having to wait until like Black Friday type time this coming year to do that. But even if it takes until then, it'll be worth it, because I'm hoping to get more of a future-proof gaming laptop with my next purchase. Although I will say I would be willing to just buy one earlier if the government passes those $2,000 checks. I'd be cool with using a chunk of that on it. I'd also like to sign up for a gym this year, and try and get myself into better shape. I've been kind of slacking on my diet over the last few months, and I'd like to kind of whip myself back into that being in line. I think that about covers my expectations for the year. Although I guess I kind of just bled into the next question, which is Alex Cage saying, any goals for 2021, which I kind of just went over, get a laptop, get into better shape, move. That's a big one for me. I know that some of you already know that I live in my grandparents' basement with my mom. She's epileptic, and I am her sort of official caretaker. I get paid to watch after her and make sure that she doesn't fall and stuff like that. But we're going to be moving this year. That's a huge goal. I'm hoping that we are able to do that as early as May, but it might take until June. And hopefully not much later than that. Still literally haven't even decided what we're going to move into. We've been kind of debating house on its own land, mobile home, or apartment for months now, and we really can't seem to land on one correct answer because we need to go somewhere that the neighbors don't mind me being loud, because we live react to wrestling shows and I get fucking loud. But also, like, I really don't want to have to worry about, like, being liable for anything. So an apartment would be really great, but that's the one option where we have to worry about my volume and stuff. So it'd be really nice if we could just find an apartment that was like at the end of a building, and then I could like soundproof a room at the end of it or something like that. I don't even know, but that's about it as far as my goals for 2021. Lose weight, get in better shape, buy myself a good sort of future-proof gaming laptop, and move. So how about you, John? What are your goals for 2021?
Again, just do as much philosophy as I can. Reading it, writing it. I'm trying to get a book off the ground on the history of philosophy told through a disability lens. So far, every publisher has rejected us, but we're trying to make a move at a publisher that I would be honored to be with, because they've published some of the biggest names in the history of philosophy, names that have actually gotten me into this discipline. So, that would mean the world to me as somebody that just has a very hyper focus on this. Again, I'm thinking of myself going back to therapy. I want to get my health issues, under control, make sure that I've leveled out my diet, that I'm getting enough potassium now and everything, because I was a bit low on that. That is kind of scary. Put weight back on because I was almost borderline underweight because I experimented with fasting this year. Hey, you find things out through experimentation, kids. Let's see.
Discovery requires experimentation.
Exactly. So again, therapy, because I definitely feel like lately, everything I've been going through has kind of shown me I've definitely grown a lot. I would stand by the growth that I've made, but I still have a lot more growth left to do. I would like to prioritize my family a bit more, because I feel like my life is just oscillating between like TWitWoW and philosophy, and I would like to spend more time with them. I don't think I make enough time for them, which in a way, I don't necessarily apologize for, because I am passionate about what I do. But I think, I adore my family, and, I want to, get as much time with them as I can. Ideally in 2021, I don't know if he's still here, I would meet Angel finally. Fuck, we've tried like twice, and the universe keeps kicking us in the balls. So maybe I'll wear a cup in 2021 as well. And yeah, I really think just my big goal is always just do better in philosophy, make philosophy better, become better, and just stay healthy, stay focused, stay hungry, and just keep doing what I can, to push TWitWoW forward, push Stardom forward, because again, they deserve that. And yeah, anyway, I can contribute to the revolution and the dismantling of capitalism and the eating of the rich. That's also a bonus. So let's get it done. Eat the rich 2021, baby.
All right, and we're on to Rotten Butter. First question, you know how it goes. Beep. He literally said as his first question, beep.
We finished Wentworth, the family and I, the latest season. I tell everybody with a Netflix subscription, especially in the US, because I don't think it's available in certain countries, get on that shit. It is so much better than Orange is the New Black to me, which isn't to say that you shouldn't watch Orange is the New Black. I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of people really, like, exalt that show and, oh, it's so good, and in a lot of ways it is, but I just think Wentworth is so much better, and they're actually getting ready to do their final season next year, and it's fucking, wild to me. It's been a real pleasure to watch that, so I've enjoyed it. What else did we watch? Because, God, so much of everything feels like a fucking blur. We did that. I don't think Shameless was this month. That was probably last month. We did some old school episodes of The Challenge. That was pretty weird. We did.
How old school we talking?
I think like season 2 or 3, maybe.
I might have watched those.
Yeah, dude, old. Everybody's so old.
Was that when Johnny Bananas was still young though?
I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wow, Sabrina's got new episodes, and I didn't even know about it. I'm actually shocked that show's still going. We still haven't watched the season, I guess, of the musical or whatever. So that's something. Trying to think about what else we watched, because I know we watched more stuff. God, the brain fog of the pandemic is so fucking real, people. I will tell you. Oh, we watched Queen's Gambit. I don't know if I mentioned that last month, because I really feel like that was a December thing. Queen's Gambit was great. I know some of my colleagues have had very visceral reactions to it. Others have really enjoyed it. I'm in the enjoyment camp. Not everything needs to be socially deconstructed. Although, you know what? I'm glad that it is, because you never fucking know, right? Let's see what else. Obviously, you and I, we've been doing like our Marvel run together.
Oh yeah, dude. Speaking of Marvel, all those trailers dropped earlier this month.
Dude, yes, I am so excited for fucking Loki the most. That's gonna be great.
Same.
Yeah. We of course. Biggest thing we watched this month, Parasite. Fucking loved Parasite. That was a great movie. I've read so many reviews and commentaries on that movie. I don't think I've ever been like that invested in like just something. That's definitely gonna be something that I rewatch down the road. So Parasite was a big one. We watched that social media documentary this month. You know the one that I'm talking about that was making waves? In fact, if I type it in, I'm sure I'll get the actual name of it. The Social Dilemma. Yeah, that's been like a big Netflix documentary. We watched that. Not bad. I recognized the male actor, one of the male actors from Santa Clarita Diet, so it was cool to see him there. It's good to see people you like getting work. Let's see, what else? I don't know what else we watched on Netflix. I know I've been meaning to check out the show, and maybe that's how I'll start 2021 on my own time. I've been meaning to check out the show American Gods, and I hear the TV show is better than the book. I've wanted to watch that show since it first came out, and I think they're getting close to their 3rd season. So I'm like, well, don't think I'm going to be able to watch this with anybody, so I'm just going to make my own time for that. So excited to watch that, but that was something I was thinking about. I think I watched like a trailer of it or something. I'm like, yeah, I still want to watch this. I strangely went back and I watched Banjo-Kazooie Smash reveal reaction videos, because the joy is just so pure, and I still want to play as Banjo-Kazooie in Smash for next year.
That sounds like fun, yeah.
Dude, so good. Again, I read a shit ton this year. I think the last book I read, and I couldn't believe I read it in a single day, was Boethius's Consolations of Philosophy. So fucking good. Well, actually, I have my problems with it, but just all philosophy to me is so fucking good. What else did I do this month? Talking about Marvel Run. We've been doing Among Us, which I love. Oh my god, it's such a great reprieve from Rocket League, and it's just so wonderful to lie and then kill people. I feel like it feeds my worst urges, but in a very healthy and productive way. So it's a blessing for all of us, really. Let me think. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna, and again, I've just been working on projects and stuff. Nothing really big there. So I think I'm going to cede the floor to Ashton here. Ashton, what would you like to share with us?
Just I don't think I've watched any new movies this month at all. Actually, what I can do though is open this up. Let's see. I'm gonna look in my history for December for the website that we use to watch movies. Let's see here. Well, it looks like we've pretty much just been doing Marvel all month, because I have Jessica Jones on here. I have Cloak and Dagger. That was a new thing that we had never watched before. We watched season 1 of Marvel's Cloak and Dagger, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It started out really weird, and I really didn't like Dagger, but Cloak was cool throughout the whole thing. And by the end, I ended up liking both of them. It was a really good show. I'm looking forward to getting around to season 2, which will probably be this month, actually. But yeah, we've been binging the MCU, and the thing is, we haven't just been binging the MCU. We've been binging the MCU as thoroughly as anyone possibly could. We're watching the shows and the movies and the one-shots. We're getting everything in. And just this month, we've done I just want to say we started with Jessica Jones at the beginning of the month. We did Cloak and Dagger. We did all of AOS season 2. We did Avengers: Age of Ultron. We did the News Front season 1. We did Ant-Man. We did the first 10 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then just last night we started Daredevil season 2. But on top of that, I forget, John, what was it that interrupted our MCU viewing that dropped this month on Netflix?
Fuck.
I think it was like December 15th something dropped, and I'm forgetting what it was.
Was it Big Mouth?
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. Big Mouth season 4 dropped, so we watched the first 3 seasons of that and then got into season 4 afterwards. And that was a lot of fun. Did you already mention that we watched Big Mouth this month?
No, that's all you, man, because I actually forgot about that until you mentioned it.
Yeah, well then that works out really well because yeah, we've watched Big Mouth, all 4 seasons that are out now this month. Other than that though, guys, I gotta tell you, I have really not had the TV on much at all. Haven't really been watching movies or TV shows other than the wrestling stuff that we watch. Most of my time is dedicated to either gaming, which 80% of the time these days is, Minecraft related stuff. Or, the other 20% is Among Us with the boys. And when I say the boys, I mean either the Discord, the TWitWoW Discord, or the other group of guys that I play with in the NFL Draft Discord server. And then the rest of my time is just watching YouTube and Twitch. That's pretty much my my consumption time. Is I'm either playing a Minecraft game, playing Among Us. I guess there is a percentage of that too that goes to like Rocket League and Brawlhalla, but that's a much smaller proportion of it. I think John and I were actually just playing Rocket League last night for like an hour and a half or so. It was fucking miserable, but it was fine. God, that game sucks so much, and yet we keep playing it. And yeah, I big fan, and pretty much all the people that I listed for what my sort of fantasy Among Us lobby would be are the people that I keep up with. Valkyrie, Corpse, Toast, Saikuno, Fuslie, Tina Kitten. I already mentioned Peter Park, Hafu. I can literally open my Twitch right now and see who's live. They're always fucking live. Ex Choco Bars, Tubbo, Ludwig. I keep forgetting. Sorry about that. Forgot to mute the tab. Ludwig is fucking hilarious. Ludwig is quickly becoming one of my favorite personalities in this sort of community. And yeah, that about covers it. So it's a much shorter answer from me this time than usual. Oh, there are a few songs that I've discovered this month that I can mention. So let me pull up my Napster. And I only say Napster because I'm still in the process of trying to transition from Napster to Spotify. Just because I don't have the time to transfer playlists over, because I have some like 400 song playlists on Napster that are going to be a pain in the ass to transfer over to Spotify. So let me pull up Spotify or Napster and check out my favorite current hits playlist. It's taking a little while to load. There we go. All right. Positions by Arnagonda. Y'all probably do that. Why Don't We is like a boy group, like a boy band that make really, really good chill music most of the time, but they have a song that came out, I don't know if it was like this month or just relatively recently. I know it came out this year, called Fallen Adrenaline, that samples Black Skinhead by Kanye West, and it's fucking amazing. It's so goddamn good. And then they have another song that came out even more recently called Slow Down that I kind of dug. Black Bear is somebody that is one of those like artists that like I don't necessarily actively keep up with him, but whenever a new song comes out that he is either featured on or it's his song, I tend to enjoy it, and I like his song Cheers with Wiz Khalifa. Kind of a recent breakout artist is the Kid Laroi. His song Without You is on my playlist here. And then there's a song called Easy by Troye Sivan and Casey Musgraves that I added to it as well. There's this woman named Gianna Minicello, I think is how it's pronounced. They came out with a song called Dearly Loved that I heard that I really, really liked. She has a really cool, like raspy voice. But then like I went back and listened to her older stuff and she didn't. She sounded like a pretty like average pop star voice. But like this Dearly Loved song, it just sounds like she's just like, you know what? Fuck pop. I'm gonna be a rocker now. And it worked out really well for her because I really, really like it. So that's about the extent of my music exposure for the month.
I'll say for me, just real quick on the music side, I know Never Tell that I am a fan of. They actually thanked me for my tweet about them, which was always very touching.
Oh, that's cool.
They put out 3. I mean, it's songs they've already done, but they're stripped down versions, which really good. You could really feel the emotion and everything in them. Conquer Divide, who I think all the band liked my tweet because I like added all of them. I actually went back to look at them because there was one song of theirs that I've repeated for like years. It's called War. And I looked at what they've done recently. They did a Billie Eilish cover because I'm going to be honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of Billie Eilish.
Neither am I.
But their cover of it, they did Bad Guy.
That's really, like the one song by her that I actually do like.
Yeah, and I thought they did a great cover of it, just one man's opinion. And they did a song, Nightmares, that's become like a part of my playlist. I think I even added it to my workout playlist, and if I haven't, then I'm going to correct that immediately. Really, for 2021, kind of looking ahead, I hear that Mosaic is going to be coming out with new music, and I can't fucking wait. I fucking love those guys. They're really sweet, and I want to support their artistry. But yeah, for this month, music-wise, Conquer Divide was a big part of it, and Never Tell, I think, became a big part of it towards the end. Just wanted to kind of shout them out. But yeah, you said you were good, so let's get to Rotten Butter's 2 other questions, because it's 3,
all right? Yep, second question from Rotten Butter. Why do people seem to be under the assumption that once the year is over, things will suddenly get better?
I don't know, bro, and it's funny that we've already kind of addressed that throughout the Q&A. I won't say that it annoys me, because I don't want to be that much of a dick. People need to look to hope for something. I just wish that they would look into things that are more concrete and within their control rather than abstractions that do nothing but perpetuate harms and invite, in my mind, like apathy and complicity. So that's just, I guess, kind of my assessment of the whole thing.
Yeah. I think it's just because our brains are designed to really like when things, like, change like that. Like,
yeah, definitely.
New year, new me, it's like we think of things very, very binary in that sense. It's like, oh, we need an excuse to make things change, and the year changing is like the number one biggest excuse that we take advantage of to make things change. And the problem is that usually it doesn't last very long, so we'll see.
Right, exactly.
Third and final question from Rotten Butter. Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near?
I'm sorry. I keep saying to myself I need to take out the breadcrumbs from my pocket. I'll do better. I apologize.
It's a Carpenter's song.
You know what? I figured, but I don't give a fuck about these questions anymore. Like, in these third questions, I just kind of roll with it and say whatever the fuck I want. I mean,
final set of questions are from Alex Foster. First up, with eye removals, people being thrown off buildings, and people being lit on fire, what other violent acts do you expect to be committed in wrestling kayfabe?
I'm still waiting for somebody to just produce a gun and just empty a clip and then walk off like a boss, before the cops apprehend them and shit. So yeah, I'm still waiting for just somebody full blown using a gun or getting in a gunfight or something. Maybe Lucha Underground would have gotten there if they had gotten more time. But that's what I'm waiting for. What about you?
Yeah, geez. I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't have predicted any of the things that you mentioned happening, like the eye removals and, getting, fucking Corbin throwing, I forget who it was Mysterio and someone else off a building.
Yeah.
And then, Bray being lit on fire. I wouldn't have predicted any of that. So if I wouldn't have predicted any of those, how can I be expected to predict something that's going to one-up those?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a weird spot for you, but, yeah, cough it up.
Okay, well, how about, you know what? Other than Stardom, we haven't had a good hanging in a while. I wouldn't be surprised if they went there.
There you go.
All right, next question from Foster. If money and traveling weren't an issue, what other type of content would you like to bring to the TWitWoW channel? And he had added specifically saying something other than reviews and live reactions.
You know, I would almost hate for us to become that kind of channel, but since this is purely conjecture anyway, I'm not going to care so much about that. I guess we would take on maybe more of a Kanachan TV component where we would maybe talk about like wrestling merch, like authentic New Japan merch we bought straight from Japan, or like a Japanese store or whatever, and stuff like that. I would never want us to become that personally, because I like where we have our foothold and stuff. But again, purely conjecture, I think that'd be a component we'd probably add. Like, oh, here's me buying a Suzuki shirt, or here's me meeting Suzuki, right? Or something like that. That's the kind of content I think if travel and money weren't an issue, we'd be like, I don't know, vlogging a autograph session with Suzuki-gun or something like that. Just something pops into mind. What about you? You always have a good vision.
Yeah, I would. It's kind of a hard call because there's got to be a line, like how personal is too personal, right?
Exactly.
At what point are we sharing so much of our lives that it's too much, right?
Exactly.
Because, like, I could imagine us, like, if money wasn't an issue, if traveling wasn't an issue, I would love to just, like, go on a road trip with you and, like, document the whole thing and do, like, daily live streams where we maybe, you know, play a game and talk about our experiences, maybe get caught up on wrestling, live react to some wrestling, stuff like that. I think that would be a really cool experience, but I feel like that can also only go on for so long. Although, again, maybe we could do it in different countries. Maybe we could start in the U.S., kind of do a round robin tour of the U.S., try and kind of hit all of the major cities and stuff in the U.S., do the daily vlogs, you know, or rather daily live streams where we play some kind of game and talk about the shit that we've seen and the shit that we've done and the wrestling that we've either watched or missed and that kind of stuff. Do it around the US, see how long that takes, and then maybe we catch like a flight to Japan and we do it in Japan too. Or maybe we just do Canada since we know that they speak English, and maybe we do, you know, Mexico and we check out like CMLL and AAA and stuff like that. Like that, I think, would kind of be the most extreme version of this channel that I would want us to go to.
Yeah, I could agree with that. All right, next question.
Third question from Foster. What do you do in video games that proves you're probably not the best person?
Oh, God.
Can I go first?
Yeah, sure.
I am a serial restarter in video games. If I get to a certain point and I realize, oh, there's a way that I could have gotten here easier that would have set me up to have an easier time going forward, I will restart the game completely and start from the beginning, and I don't give a fuck. I am a perpetual serial restarter. I even do this shit in Minecraft. Like if I get fucking diamonds in Minecraft and I realize like, man, this took way longer than it should have, I'm going to try again and try and do it faster this time. I've done that countless times before. It's a problem. I think I have some kind of problem. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a control issue where I always feel like I want to be doing the best possible thing, but I don't know if it makes me a bad person, but it's definitely a flaw.
All right. I guess for me, I haven't done this in a minute, but I will spam the shit out of save states. If they give you an opportunity to just like save at any point in the game, I abuse the shit out of that. In fact, funny story, one of my favorite games ever, just because it comes from one of my favorite series ever, Max Payne 2, when I played it on the easiest setting, because I always like to do that first, and I don't think I've ever gone back on any of those games and tried a harder level, probably because it's just very quickly demoralizing. I used a save state at the worst time, because like I die seconds after, and every time I reload that state, like it's just death over and over. It's kind of like when Morty had that happen, where he got maced and he tried to save it, and he just keeps going back into mace. That was me pretty much. And I had to restart the whole game, and I'm like, but yeah, I abuse the shit out of save states because I don't like dying. I like getting all my stuff. And fuck restarting. Oh, we'll restart from this particular point to the finish line. So yeah, spamming save states is definitely something I do that's just like, yeah, bro, it's a fucking game. Chillax.
Yeah. Another big thing that I do in video games that is maybe indicative of my character, I don't know, is that like, oh God, I had something and it just completely left me. Hang on a second. You were just talking about using save states, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Fuck, I had something. I completely lost it. What the hell? This is going to be something that pops up in my brain about 3 minutes from now while we're talking about something completely unrelated if we move on, but I don't want to take this time either. Shit, man. Oh, self-imposed rules. That's the big one. Self-imposed rules. So, I fucking hate watching speedruns of a lot of games that I like to play because I always feel like they're playing the games wrong. And like, I never actually say that to anyone because I don't want to take anyone else's fun away. But like in my mind, like with Pokemon games, if you've seen one speedrun, you've seen them all. You start with the water starter, you use a fuck ton of X speeds and X attacks or whatever the fuck, or X accuracies or whatever, and you just fucking cheese your way through the game. And I hate that shit. I hate the use of the X items to bypass bad stats and lower levels. I hate the idea of only having one Pokemon from the beginning to the end. And like this isn't just a Pokemon exclusive thing, although that's the most prominent one that I can think of. Like, you know, even like with fucking Robopon, which is like a very recent thing that's just started getting speedrun within the last few months. With Robopon 2, like the whole strategy of only having one Robopon until you get to a certain point pisses me off. I'm like, no, that's not fun. It's not the way the games were meant to be played and stuff like that. So I have a tendency to impose rules on myself so that I have an excuse to not just do the speedrun thing where you only have one Pokemon and just run through the whole thing. And one of the rules that I like to impose on myself is that you're not allowed to do any extracurricular grinding in like random encounters. And then another one in Pokemon specifically is that you're not allowed to avoid any trainer battles, because I know that that's a big strat in speedruns too, is to basically avoid as many trainer battles as you can because they take up time and your goal isn't to beat the game, it's to beat the game as quickly as possible. And avoiding trainer battles is one way to do that, but I always like to make sure that I hit every trainer battle that I can because I also plan on not grinding, and I also don't like to buy any kind of items if I can help it. And if I do, I leave it strictly to healing or capturing items. And even then, I rarely have to buy Pokeballs because you get plenty of them throughout the game, and I don't usually catch that many Pokemon. I usually catch maybe 8 or 9 over the course of a playthrough. So yeah, like the two big things for me are like my self-imposed rules that are probably unnecessary, but I do it to myself anyway, to give my excuse to play the games a certain way. And then the other one is, yeah, the serial restarting. I'm always trying to restart games to try and get through the early game as quickly and as efficiently as possible to set myself up for a better mid game. And then once I'm in the mid game, I'll usually end up restarting to try and get to the mid game where I'm set up in a better situation to be able to blow through the mid game. And then I'll get to the late game and I'll be like, oh, there's a way that I could have done this to get here easier. And that would have set me up for a better late game. And like, I just keep fucking going. And it's like if you think of a game as like 10 steps, I'll take 2 steps and then restart, and then I'll take 3 steps and then I'll restart. And then like, you know, I basically stair step my way through the game, falling back to the bottom of the stairs after every few steps, or maybe even after every step sometimes, depending on how obsessive I'm being. So that's my biggest flaw. And then, yeah, the self-imposed rules. So I'm ready to move on if you are, John.
Absolutely.
All right. Santa Claus has been proven to be real. What questions do you want to ask him?
How do you do it? All the presents around the world. So, like, that's what anybody would want to ask, right? Like, how do you do it? What are the physics of it? Do you defy physics? Do you exist outside of, like, space-time? Yeah. Just really the metaphysical and physics-based questions.
You just reminded me of another Christmas movie that would fit on my list that I don't know if you and I have ever watched together before. It's an old Disney Channel original movie called 'Twas the Night that has Bryan fucking Cranston in it.
I think I actually do know that movie. It's vague. It's vague in my memory, but I think I actually am aware of that movie.
But the reason that you reminded me of that is because I'm like, oh, isn't it obvious? Santa is a time wizard. He controls time. He stops time to be able to deliver presents. It's that easy.
Yeah. All right. Was that his last question, or do we have one more from him?
One more, and this is the final Q&A question of this Q&A of December and of 2020 in general, what anime characters that you guys can think of would not last long in our real world?
Anime characters that I can think of would not last long in our real world.
I feel like most of them.
I feel like Ash Ketchum immediately comes to mind because, like, our real world doesn't have Pokemon, so he'd, like, have a mental fucking breakdown.
But he's also, like, 11 years old, so...
Go the fuck back to school. Actually,
exactly,
no,
yeah, like, his life wouldn't be ruined. It would just suck for him.
Yeah, it would suck. Yeah. Enjoy life down here with the rest of us, bitch. Naruto the same way. I mean, I guess he could bring his uses to the real world, but he'd be marked as a terrorist and probably shot. So, like, way to stay suppressed.
Any anime character with superpowers or quirks, if we want to talk about My Hero Academia, would immediately be captured by the government and fucking sliced open and operated on and experimented on and shit.
We're really prejudicial against differences. It's really sad. Oh, God. You want to talk about not faring well in our world? Because at first I thought that they would. Pretty much anybody from the Death Note universe with, like, emphasis on Light Yagami and any, like, Death Note owners. Because, I mean, you thought the task force you had to deal with in your universe was bad enough. When you've got entire governments wanting to control that notebook for its own imperialistic purposes... like, Jesus Christ, yeah, I don't think any of them, even with the power of that notebook, would survive, especially with the rules and conditions of it and everything. So, yeah, it would not be a good time. So I think I'm going to cut myself off there because I'm not that well-versed in anime, but I think that sufficiently answers the question.
All right. Well, I think that about covers it then. Anything else that you wanted to say?
No, just thank you, everybody, for making TWitWoW 2020 just fantastic. Obviously, it's not over. We've got year-end awards. So just as far as Q&A goes, thank you for all the great questions. The first Q&A of 2021 will be January 28th. So January 28th will be
exactly
the first
4 weeks from today.
Look at your face doing the math. So, yeah, that's happening. You guys know the rules. 3 Q&A questions for every non-Patreon donor. 5 for patrons. Just donate $1 and you're in. You know, it's no longer any like processing or whatever. It's just, you do it and you're in. So, yeah, $1 for 5 Q&A questions. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. As I am doing my part of the outro, I am now going to make the new pin tweet. And this will be Q&A number 55. So, god damn, we are like over the halfway mark for 100. Our 100th Q&A is going to be fucking tripping balls, bro. Holy shit.
Our 100th Q&A is going to be in when was the 52nd one? October. So it would be 4 years after. So October of 2024 is going to be our 100th Q&A.
That's fucking wild. So yeah, I am just about. I think I've more or less got this. I'm gonna pin the tweet now.
Oh god, our 100th Q&A is gonna be like a week before the 2024 election.
oh, I can already say Abel's questions. Oh my god, this is what like fucking omniscience feels like. So guys, be sure to join us in just a little bit at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going live with TWitWoW Year-End Awards. I am so happy that we fucking crushed this because I'm hoping that Ash and I get to have a big meal because we're going to need something to settle on our stomachs as we go long with Year-End Awards. So I guess I should thank you guys as well for that. Thank you for being a bit reserved in your questions, knowing that we have a huge mountain to move. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. So on that end, I'm going to be thoughtful and I'm just going to hand it over to Ash so we get the fuck out of here.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for those of you who asked questions. If you did, we appreciate it. And even if you didn't, you can always ask questions for our January Q&A now. John's got his pinned tweet up. If you're in the Discord, you can ask him in there. Otherwise, you can also ask him on Twitter or just in a comment on this video or really on any video because I'll see him no matter what. You can ask up to 3 questions. And if you're a Patreon or if you are a patron, if you are signed up to the Patreon, you can ask up to 5 questions. And that, it doesn't matter how much it is, even as low as a $1 a month donation on the Patreon will get you those extra 2 Q&A questions. If you enjoyed this show, you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, and follow us on Twitter and Twitch. If you'd like to support the channel, you can also subscribe on Twitch, buy our merch on Teespring. This is where I mentioned donating to the Patreon as well. So that's, the Discord is $3 a month. The 2 extra Q&A questions are $1. You get, it's not like those you have to pay $4 for both of those. If you pay $3, you get both of them. And of course, we've got a couple of requests coming up at some point in January. We haven't hammered out dates yet, but we do know that at some point in January, we will be live reacting to WWE Vengeance 2003 and a 4-match compilation of Christian Cage in Impact Wrestling. And we know that because of our Patreon Discord. For those of you that want to get into the Discord, it's only $3 a month. That being said, if you would like to support us, the only other way that I can think of to do it is to share this channel and this video with all your wrestling fan friends and let them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube and Twitch wrestling communities. Because we are TWitWoW and we are the workhorses of the Y and T WCs. We hope that you enjoyed, and our next show will be in about an hour and 12 minutes from now, or, rather than giving you that number, I'll just say at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we will be going live with our year-end awards. Historically, a 5-hour show, and frankly, this year, even if we end up just shy of 5 hours on the show itself, we'll still stay live until midnight for the sake of celebrating the new year with the TWitWoW fans, with the TWitWoW fam. We hope that you're all looking forward to that. As far as other content, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, rather, we've got New Japan because Monday and Tuesday is Wrestle Kingdom. We'll be doing those at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then Thursday is going to be a double header. We've got New Year Dash and a Stardom show. And then I'm guessing Friday we're going to have another Stardom show. We'll see. But that being said, we hope that you're looking forward to all that. And most importantly, we hope that you're all able to remember to stay tuned.